What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is gonna be your review for Love and Hip Hop. Nope, it's not. Yeah, Love and Hip Hop New York. My bad, y'all. Whew, I'm all over the place. Love and Hip Hop New York, season 10, episode 1. So they premiered it tonight as a 2-hour premiere, but it's really just episode 1 and 2. So I decided I was gonna break it up and do it as because it's a lot going on for me to be breaking. But y'all know how these episodes go. The first episode is just kind of giving you a who, what, when, where, how, what's been going on since last season. Let's meet the new people. But in this instance, pretty much the new is the old. Because the whole theme of this season is throwing back, going back to the beginning. So a lot of the new people on here are people that were originally on here that they're bringing back. So the first person we see is Chrissy Lumpkin. Chrissy, if you've been watching the season from the show from the beginning, you know Chrissy is Jim Jones' girlfriend slash. Well, I don't think Florida. Anyway, girlfriend slash common law. Common law still exists in New York. I don't think it does, but whatever. They've been together for 5,264 years, and she was at the beginning of the show. Her and Yandy didn't get along. Yandy was Jim Jones' manager, so they always clashed over girlfriend versus manager. And I'm giving y'all a short version of this, okay? But she's coming back. She's been living in Miami. She said her and Jim never broke up. They might have had some distance between them, but they've always been a couple. And she's moving back to New York. And she said, look, she's got some fences to mend. She wants to debt old beefs, resolve some issues, and move forward. So that's what her deal is. Um, Remy is off of parole, no more ankle bracelet, no more monitor. She's ready to, she's able to get back in the studio and really promote her music. A lot of people have been asking these questions about Remy since she got out, where's the music? Or when she does drop a single, she's not really out there doing a lot. I don't think people understood just how handcuffed she was being on parole. We saw her out of jail and we thought it was all good. But every time she wanted to do anything, she had to get a judge's permission. And she did a couple of lives about this. There were times when she was asked to go places, to do concerts, to do different events where she could have made some money, and the judge, every single time she wanted to go out of the state, she had to ask permission and the judge would deny her. Not every time, but there were times when the judge would deny her. And she just a lot. She couldn't be out after 8. She said she had to get, if she wanted to leave the house before a certain time. Like, it was just a lot. So now she's saying that she can actually put out music and promote it the way it needs to be promoted, and not have to be handcuffed to someone's whim on whether she could go out and make money for her family or not. And so we definitely see that she's in the studio and she's got the golden child. And y'all know Papoose got her 10 toes down, however it's going to swing. So definitely happy to see that. She's having a happy to be on off parole party, I guess. I don't know. So we'll get to that later. We know Safari and Erica. Look, some of this stuff ain't gonna need me dragging out because it's been playing out in the blogs and y'all know what it is. Erica and Safari are dating, they pregnant, they're planning their wedding. The wedding is like 3 weeks away when we start this episode. And for those who don't know how they met, they kind of go back to that. There was a reality show last year, maybe the year before last, because they filmed the show and then we see the show. But it was called, I don't remember the name of it, but basically a bunch of reality stars had to live in this haunted mansion, and they had to do challenges and then they had to vote people off. It was a whole elimination type show. And Erica was on there with Safari and he used to flirt with her, and then, they sort of kind of started that whole flirting thing or whatever. And that's where it started and it built from there. So we see there right now they are very happy. It's all good. Sin and Button. Again, it's played out on the blogs. We know they broke up. Sin said Joe cheated on her. Joe is see when people start double talking, then it make me question what they're saying. Joe, did y'all understand what the hell Joe was saying? And Sin is not really giving us a lot of detail. And so it's kind of making me a little suspect. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna just put a little check by that one and put it to the side. I would hope we're not playing games when there's a baby involved, but I don't put nothing past nobody. But Joe was saying that he wasn't cheating, although it may have been some inappropriate things going on, but that things weren't good in the relationship. They weren't really happy at the time. See, all that double talk, either you were or you weren't. And what is inappropriate? I need a definition. Because what's inappropriate to you may not be inappropriate to me, and vice versa. Sin, when the producers asked her, well, what exactly did you find in his phone? She was like, the kind of stuff you find in a man's phone when he's been cheating. See, that don't tell me nothing. Because if again, what would bother me might not bother you, and vice versa. If I pick up my man's phone and he has inappropriate pictures in his phone, as long as they not underage pictures, I don't really care. I don't. For somebody else, that might be a deal breaker. Now, if I see some text that say, it was so nice hanging out with you last night, can't wait for us to do it again, now we got another conversation. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So anyway, we never really got a clear thing. We see that they're co-parenting, that's what they're doing right now, and they seem that they're not really doing a lot of speaking to each other, but they are moving forward with that. We saw them sit down and try to talk it out, which didn't really go too well. Sin wants Joe. It sounds like, from where I'm sitting, it sounds like Sin is open to a reconciliation, but she needs Joe to admit that there's a problem. You see what I'm saying? As long as Joe is doing this double talk, well, maybe what happened, da 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 da, until he just says, look, I did some messed up stuff and I'm sorry. I really want to work this out. It seems like Sin is like, look, I can't forgive you if you don't even know what you did wrong or you want to admit what you did wrong. It's sort of the conversation we had last night with Portia and Dennis. So that's sort of where they are with it. Now we have a scene where Papoose, Rich Dollars, and Papoose, Rich Dollars, and Joe go out. And Papoose was giving it to him straight with no chaser. You know, when Joe was trying to tell them what happened, he was doing all this double talk and talking around it. And Papoose said off the break, he was like, look, I haven't heard you say you were wrong and apologize. Like, I haven't heard you admit that you did something wrong. And Papoose was like, look, at the end of the day, your job is to love and protect your queen and your family. And regardless of whatever beefs y'all might go through, whatever problems y'all might go through, your job is to always treat her like a queen. And when she don't feel like a queen, you're not doing your job. And you know, Joe Button don't take a whole lot off of a lot of people, but you can tell that he respects Papoose, and you can tell that he understood the spirit in which this advice was given. Because he was like, man, I just want to knock the hat off your head. Because, of course, he had to say black love, but they laughed about it and they went on with it. Now, the other thing we saw with Yandy is really getting into prison reform. We saw that last year. I think she got maced or something. Last year, she was protesting outside of the city jail, I believe it was. Mendices is on his way home. They're getting everything in order. I don't know if he's going to have to go to a halfway house first or how that's going to work, but they're definitely getting those things in order. Kimbella came down. They were having an event for prison reform, and Kimbella did come down to try to talk. And um, she was invited and she came. And she said her and Yandy really aren't in a great place, but she showed up. You know, show support. Maybe they could try to do whatever. Um, Kimbella had the baby. You know, we know that Jewels is in jail, so her and Yandy sort of has something in common, the wrong stuff in common. But you know, Mendices is on his way home. Kimbella is just starting this journey, and so they sort of have a place to bond. You know, for lack of a better word. Um, Jonathan is back this season. We'll get to Jonathan later, but Jonathan is back this season, and yeah, I think that's pretty much what we got. So we see Chrissy meet up with Kimbella. She said the first person I really need to try to clear the air with is Kimbella. My husband, her husband, well, whatever Jim Jones is. You know, they're in the diplomats together. The diplomats have been back together and touring and things like that. And she said, you know, I really want us to be in a better place. The two of y'all are, you know, where y'all are brothers. Y'all consider yourself brothers. We really need to clear the air. So they sit down and they talk. And Chrissy was like, look, I'm not here to be disrespectful, but I'm not here to be disrespected. Can we talk this out and try to come to a common ground? And so they talk it out, and Chrissy tries to put it on Kimbella. Kimbella's like, hold up, stop. You snuck me. Like, regardless of how you felt about what I did and how I did it, you put your hands on me first. And Chrissy sort of had to kind of be like, I was upset, I was angry, I handled it inappropriately. She's like, I might have been a little aggressive. Kimbella was like, do we need to run the tape? And y'all know they did. Y'all know they showed us that damn tape. They showed us that fight about 3 times, child. But they were able to kind of talk it out, and basically Chrissy was like, I didn't appreciate, we were there to try to support Emily at a moment she needed support, and you here talking about you used to sleep with her dude. Like, that probably wasn't the best time to bring that up. But at the end of the day, she married with 4 whole babies by somebody else, or 3 whole babies with somebody else. So, they're in a different place. Everybody's in a different place right now. So they were able to talk and agree that, yeah, we're not going to be the best friends and all that good stuff, but we could definitely be in a better place than where we were. So there we have that. So I think we got everybody caught up. Now it's time for Remy's party. The theme is black and white. I love it, right? The whole prison black and white stripes thing. Everybody looks good. Everybody looks, everybody on their A game. Here we have about 20 elephants in this room, right? We've got Erica there with Safari. We know last season Safari, Rich Dollars didn't end out in a good place. We know that Safari, Joe Button didn't end in a good place. Joe Button is at the party. Then we have Sin there with Jonathan, and we know Sin and Joe not getting along right now, and Sin and Erica used to date. Then we have somebody, it's another elephant somewhere in that room. Did I cover all the elephants? Anyway, all the elephants are covered in the room, I think. Okay, so with that being said, what we find out is, because I just want to make sure I ain't missing nothing, honey. What we find out is Joe and Safari have made up. They left off in a real nasty place last year, but Joe's dog died. Safari reached out to Joe. They bonded. It don't take a whole lot for men to make up. It really doesn't. But they made up, and he said, we've actually been in a better place. So when you saw them sort of walk up on each other, you thought it was going to be a problem, and they really were kind of cool. Sin ain't say, it didn't look like Sin spoke to anybody. She stayed over there with Jonathan, and they did their thing. Then we saw Rich come over, and it was real tense because Safari was like, look, the last time we was around each other, he was disrespectful to me, he was disrespectful to my woman, and it ain't going down like that. Like, if he come out his mouth, sideways, it's gonna be a problem. But Rich, he shook his hand, told him congratulations, didn't have no smoke for him. He tried to shake Erica's hand. Erica was like, no, no ma'am, no sir. Thank you. Goodbye. And when he walked away, she said in her confessional, I don't even know why he came up to me, because he already know I don't see it for him. And then he walked over with Joe and was like, I just wanted to spit in her face. So it wasn't real. It wasn't sincere or genuine. You were just trying to deal with it or whatever. Anyway, now we get to the end of the episode, and who comes walking in the door? Kimbella with Chrissy. So of course Yandy is sitting there rolling her eyes, because Yandy Jonathan told Yandy that Chrissy was coming back and all that good stuff, because they're bringing Chrissy in through Jonathan. Crazy, but we'll get to that too. And Chrissy was like, Yandy was like, you know what? It's whatever. As long as she don't disrespect me, as long as she don't have no, she don't come at me with no smoke, we cool. It is what it is. So the minute Chrissy comes walking in the party, of course, Yandy rolling her eyes and sucking her teeth. Then she sees she with Kimbella, and she like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, the last time we saw Chrissy was trying to jump me, and she had already drugged you. So how is this even catching up? So Y'all know Chrissy being the person that she is, she rolled right up on Yandy. She ain't take no shortcuts. She ain't go to the bar. She rolled right up on her and was like, look, so I guess we need to just go ahead and clear the air and face it head on so that we can just go ahead and deal with each other and it's gonna be what it's gonna be. And Yandy was like, it's whatever. So Chrissy goes straight in and starts talking about why she had a problem with Yandy. And of course, now here go Yandy having selective memory. I don't remember that. I don't remember saying that. I don't remember that happening. And of course, when they rolled the tape back, it had happened. She said, well, look, Chrissy was like, well, you was questioning how my man was spending money on me, what kind of things my man was doing with his money. So, yeah, I got a problem with that. And she was like, well, look, when the accountant is calling me, telling me that you behind on your mortgage, you behind on your, this going on, then yeah, I'm going to say maybe you don't need to buy them new shoes. Maybe you don't need to buy that new bag. Yeah, maybe you need to spend your money a little differently. And Chrissy was like, yeah, but that wasn't your place. Like, you were his manager. If his business manager's calling you, his business manager's calling him. You know what I mean? Now, at the end of the day, Yandy probably wasn't wrong because seems like they might have had some money issues. But I think that, again, there's a short version to this long story. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that's where the episode ended. So the part two picks up, or episode number 2 picks up right there. So I'm going to do 2 separate videos because, like I said, this would be like a 30-minute video if I try to combine them. So I'm going to do a second video. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Let's chop it up in them comments. Peace.